India outrage over the long rope given to Lingayats Seer Shivamurthy Murugha by the state government. It's over 150 hours since the FIR was registered against him, but such is the clout of the accused seer that the state government has prostrated in front of the Lingayats Seer. The police is busy focusing on small fish, leaving Shivamurthy Murugha untouched. The state that hasn't arrested the main accused has issued a lookout circular against the seer, which many have called another token action. The cops interrogated the warden of the Mutt, but are still in two minds whether or not to question the Lingayats Seer on this issue. Listen in to the Chitradurga top call.
ಪ್ರಕರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಆರೋಪಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಕರೆಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಸರ್ ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರ ಸರ್ ಇವತ್ತೇನೋ ಶ್ರೀಗಳ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ತರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಗತ್ಯ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ರಶ್ಮಿ ಅವರು ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನ
ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಸಾಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಳಿದಂತ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Listen in to the Karnataka Chief Minister, who clearly is in a fix politically as well as because of the seat that he holds.
Muruga Mutt issue, sir, on the Muruga Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused has still not... Muruga Mutt issue, sir, on the Muruga Mutt issue, the accused has not yet been called for questioning, sir. It's been 7 days. Sir, so far the accused has still not...
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate, Rahul Easwar, activist, Namit Saxena, advocate on record in the Supreme Court, Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. But my first question goes to Pratibha Prahlad, renowned artist and culture specialist. I want to ask you, Pratibha Prahlad, do you actually believe that it's been 150 hours, but charges are under the POCSO Act and nothing has moved in Karnataka against the Lingayats Seer simply because the followers of this seer actually are a vote bank, and that's all there is to it.
Navika, we must remember that this is the election year. 16% of the vote bank belongs to Lingayats, and that is why you see all parties, whether it be the BJP or the Congress or the JDS, not taking any stand publicly against Shivamurthy Sharanaru, the Swami who is accused in the POCSO case. The point is that, you know, they're all standing like, you know, like a shield wall. Like, you know, of a medieval army, you know, all of them together, and it's a laughable matter, also one of very serious concern, because of the fright. I mean, all of them running like frightened deer just because it's an election year. I mean, they are supposed to be there for the public. On the one hand is this politico-religious group standing like a shield army. On the other hand are two disempowered young girls who are accusing these might and the force of the Lingayat Mutt of rape, and the police don't even have the decency to take this man in for questioning. And why are they not taking him for questioning? Because his anticipatory bail is coming up tomorrow, and he's waiting for to get an anticipatory bail, after which the police will make some sort of a perfunctory kind of a questioning of the Swamiji and then just let him be. In a POCSO case, the accused have to be arrested immediately, and this has not happened in the case of Shivamurthy Sharanaru. And I really ask the Home Minister of Karnataka and Mr. Bommai to answer their conscience and get this man questioned and arrested, because he has to face the law, whatever it be.
Mr. Rahul Easwar, we are talking about two minor girls. Two minor girls who have stated all about the sexual assault. Rahul Easwar, we should let this matter go because the God-man is important for political purposes.
First of all, the Swamiji is not a God-man, but a good man. Just 2 months back, Ramachandra Tiwari of Kendriya Vidyalaya, who was in jail for 7 years, was left off after a fake POCSO complaint. The only thing we are urging is due diligence, having caution. Let Basavarajan
or any other people not use this as a political conspiracy to defame the Mutt. And please remember, this is the not usual khatre mein hai kind of a template where we accuse other communities. Here, there is an internal power struggle that is going in the ashram that was in public knowledge for some time. So one person who was an ex-MLA on whose house these two girls stayed for 2 days, he is using these girls, who is tutoring these girls to air out some allegation against the Swamiji, because they know we will all be very passionate when a POCSO case comes. So let no one misuse POCSO. Let us have due diligence. Let the honorable courts take a call. Let us not jump the gun and create a prejudice against either the Seers nor the girls. On one side there is a Seer, on the other side there is Basavarajan. The girls should be respected. They are, we are all for them. But Basavarajan should not be using the shoulders of young girls to fire salvos who he want to defame, demean and out from the ashram.
Well, Sanjay Hegde, does the law talk about political conspiracy? In cases of political conspiracy, the POCSO Act can actually be molded in such a way that it can come into impact later. Does the POCSO Act also give some leeway that if there is an election coming up or if there is a power struggle within a Mutt, then the POCSO Act cannot be complained? I mean, do we have to look at these issues from the lens of the law of the land, or do we have to look at it from political and, power struggles inside the Mutt?
See, all these arguments of Rahul are best taken at a trial if the matter goes to trial. Equally, they can be told to the investigating officer. The investigating officer can take his own decision and decide whether to bring the matter to a charge sheet or not. But I do not know of any investigating officer in a POCSO case who goes all around in circles, all around the case without interrogating the prime accused in custody. That itself is like in the Sherlock Holmes case, the dog that did not bark, which tells you what exactly the investigating officer is up to. And I must be thankful to Pratibha for telling me that, telling your viewers that the anticipatory bail comes up. So all this investigation appears to be anticipating a possible bail, and therefore you would have an excuse that, oh, we did not necessarily interrogate the Swamiji before he got bail. Look, if he had not been a Swamiji, if he had been a journalist, for instance,
why
do you think that this kind
why
of
not a lawyer, Mr.
solitude,
Hegde? Why journalist?
Okay, if he had been a lawyer, do you think this kind of almost paternal care that the investigating officer is taking would be extended to him? Obviously not. And Pratibha did tell you that there was 16% vote bank in Karnataka, but what is also more significant is that 16% is largely concentrated in the northern areas of Karnataka. So it is much more than 16%, it is near 30%, and it is a winning margin. So yes, the BJP government and the investigating officers have been careful. I must credit a BJP MLA, Mr. Vishwanath, who has taken this issue head on and has told the Home Minister that if you cannot supervise your police officers correctly, then you please quit. It's rare that people within the BJP speak up. And when I find one like that, I do commend him.
Well, I want to ask Mr. Namit Saxena. Mr. Namit Saxena, the question here is the law of the land. The law of the land in the POCSO Act is that there should be an immediate arrest if there are minor girls involved in this matter. I want to ask you, in the middle of non-action, we suddenly see a lookout circular being put out in the name of the Seer. because there is a hearing in the court and you don't want the court to come down heavily on you, so you have a fig leaf of the lookout circular. What does that really mean? If you're not going to interrogate the person, if you're not going to arrest him, just because you assume that there can be a political conspiracy, will the law be, can the law actually be twisted and turned in the manner that Mr. Rahul Easwar says the facts are?
See, I must point out to you, an LOC, a lookout circular, is not something which is just a fig leaf in a matter of investigation. There is a complete detailed due process before issuing a lookout circular. So an LOC, once issued, it carries a lot of repercussions. One, so it's not something which is very mechanically done. One. Second, on the accused in this present case, apart from POCSO, there are provisions of the SC/ST Act as well. Now, when it comes to anticipatory bails, apart from POCSO, in prevention of atrocities against SC/ST Act, anticipatory bail is extremely difficult. The Supreme Court has held in 2018, this is Arun Mishra's judgment, that only where there is no prima facie case, an anticipatory bail can be granted. And at this stage, when an LOC has been issued, there is no interim protection given to the accused. And the anticipatory bail, see, because also in anticipatory bails in POCSO, the court is duty bound to call the complainant or the welfare officer. The notice has been issued to them. They've said that they appear before the court and said we'll have to file our objections to this anticipatory bail. So that is coming up tomorrow. So in this holistic, if you look at it, that at this stage there is no interim protection. The custody can very well be taken if required. Now this lies in the sole domain of the investigating officer or the investigating agency, that whether they require the custody of the accused at this moment or at this point of time or not is one. Second, the accused, as I read the news reports, the accused has already subjected himself to medical examination. So custodial interrogation is required only for one, medical examination, which is already done. Second, if any facts or if any recovery is to be done from the accused, that can be very well done. Fourth, you're wrong in saying that in POCSO cases, the law is that you have to immediately take custody of the accused. There is no such law. Fifth, as you pointed out the question to Mr. Hegde also, that whether this can be looked at from a political lens, yes. It can be looked at from a political lens, but that is not the criteria to either decide anticipatory bail or to conduct an investigation. That is completely separate. The IO, the investigating officer, may take a view that there may be some planted evidence, there may be
Sanjay Hegde, you want to respond to that?
We don't know.
He says the POCSO Act does not require immediate custody.
The first thing that the investigating officers normally in practice do is to take the accused in custody, because after all, pedophilia is dangerous to other children as well. So keeping this gentleman or any other accused in a POCSO case at liberty is not the normal course of events. There must be something special or something anticipated, that maybe there will be a bail or something which will bail out the investigating officer. And I must, while sitting here, I remembered something. There was a gentleman called Madani, whom the Karnataka police wanted to arrest. And the matter was coming up in the Supreme Court in the afternoon. I did tell the investigating officer, look, the anticipatory bail is likely to be mentioned in the afternoon. The investigating officer was smart enough to arrest him in the morning. The anticipatory bail then became infructuous.
Law can then be interpreted depending on the situation that you are in, and most often than not, it is the political situation that determines action. Well, we are counting the hours. It's about 151 hours since this charge has been made. But is everybody in Karnataka waiting for the case of the anticipatory bail to come up tomorrow in court to decide? What about justice to those minor girls who have made these allegations? The question is all about the victims. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll keep following this story when the anticipatory bail comes up tomorrow in court. Till then, satisfactory lookout circulars is what the government says it's doing, and that's the action that they've taken. Is it enough? Well, the jury is still out. Thank you very much for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night. Be safe.